by German soldiers, and they killed everybody who was there, including the head nun, Sarah Chartreusy, and this murdered nun was not terribly long ago beatified, so she's on her way to sainthood. I very often say that my wife decides sainthood also, if not for what she did during World War II, but for putting up with me all these years. The nun who founded these Grey Nun order was eventually elected as a member of the Hungarian Congress and worked together with my uncle, and the two of them were major opposition leaders against all the pro-German rules which occurred. But she was also persecuted, and she wound up in Buffalo, and she died just a few years ago. There were many Catholic priests who were involved in saving people at that time. For example, one of my friends who is now working with us in Buffalo, Dr. Baranski, had an order from the Vatican to go out to actually trains which were already taking people to some of these German or Polish concentration camps, and hand out pieces of papers which said that this person is named as an immigrant into Vatican City, and for that reason he should be released and allowed to progress to Vatican City. And he managed to get people off the train who were already being taken in cattle wagons and all that, and saving them. Now, some of the Catholic priests who were involved in that wound up being captured and just pushed into cattle train and said, well, you are trying to save these people, you go with them. And they wound up in some of these death camps and were gassed and killed. And there were a large number who were, but some managed to survive, and as I said, some of them wound up joining us and working with us. Next. Now, from the historic point of view, I was putting together some analogies between the fall of the Roman Empire and some of the problems we have now here. And I won't have time to talk about very much of them, but just to mention a few. One of the problems in Rome was, of course, that all the work which the Roman citizens were not interested in doing were done by slaves. In fact, some of the wars were carried out just in order to bring in more slaves to do more of the low-level jobs. Well, this looks a little bit like the immigrants working for us today at low-level wages. Interestingly enough, on the other end, we brought in some highly educated, mostly Greek philosophers and other scientists, and made them teachers and academic lecturers in Rome. Well, if you look around at our universities, a good number of our professors are imports from Europe. Many of the physicians in Rome were, again, Greek imports. Now today, we have the problem that our medical schools admit only a minimal number of our own students, and yet we need more residents and fellows and other trainees to take care of our patients. So we import large number of Indians and Chinese, and every spring I have a great deal of difficulty
in making sure that all of these foreign import residents get their proper training and their proper introduction. In Rome, originally, they had elected officials. Sometimes these were farmers who came and became consuls and war leaders, and when their time was off, they went back to their farm. But later on, this has changed. They were not elected emperors. Some of them wanted themselves to be considered as gods, and the whole system changed. Well, these looks a little bit like the excessive remunerations and perks and all kind of other benefits some of our executives receive and try to be in their position forever. So there are a great many analogies, and it is all a warning system for us. One of the interesting features is that, for example, my bank is around the corner from my hospital. And the other day I called up and I said, well, how late is the bank open? I have to get there before I go home. And somebody answered with a very strange, hard to understand accent. And I said, well, gee whiz, where are you? I'm in India. So to find out how long the bank around the corner is going to be open, I had to talk to somebody in India. So apparently we are exporting a very large number of jobs, and that is exactly what happened in Rome. Roman agriculture practically disappeared because Romans didn't want to work in the field, and most of the food came from Egypt and other areas which at that time were very fertile areas for food. And right now, if you look around in our supermarkets, a good part of our food supply comes from abroad. So there are many parallels we can draw between Rome and ourselves, and you have some of these in your handouts, and that all should make us think. Next. So I'm trying to do next week. So I'm trying to do a little bit for Dr. Luca, who, as I said, is an outstanding historian. I want to wind up with these chart, which shows two rhinos saying to each other as they look up on a human village. As I understand it, they are in danger of becoming extinct too. Thank you.